with Earth Files, Earth History, and we're going to take a look at this image today. And this has some very interesting artifacts, even though they're not visible in this image, in the position, and without magnification. But we're going to look at it in just a minute and get some really clear details out of it. But first, let me explain that when this image was taken by Orbiter 2, the film that took it was processed and developed on board, and then the film was scanned through a scanner, then transmitted back. So you're going to get these transmission scan lines here, and occasionally you'll see them run across there. And I'll let you know when they're there so you won't make a mistake of it being part of the structure. In this image where the city is, this is going to be our first stop right here. And I'm going to do a close-up, and this image did not fragment real easy, so we're going to get some really good close-up images of this. So let's go to the next image, which is the facility. Okay, I'm going to magnify this so we can really take a good look at this. And let me reposition. As you notice, there's a grid. You can tell that it's intelligently structures were made. Of course, they're falling apart. This facility is between 250 and 300 million years old. And notice this structure here, how it goes around, comes straight up, and then bends over. And you're going to see where it collapsed and this part fell down. But look at the sections in this facility, perfect 90 degrees. Now the white stuff that's around, especially down in here, that's deteriorated glass that turned to a sand-like substance, and that's the reason it looks so fluffy and bright. But of course our friends at NASA, I'm sure they did a certain amount of airbrushing over it. So here's the wall, evenly spaced, evenly hot, 90-degree turn. Of course, it's collapsed over all those years. And here's, I'm going to reposition other parts of this facility. And you can see where this top part of the structure has collapsed, and underneath it you can see the shadow from it. So yes, this was an intelligently built structure. We just looked at the facility right here in a close-up, and that way I did confirm that this is a structure, and these are structures through here, not only the grids, but we did see part of the structures, the walls and the geometrics in the design of that facility. So now we're going to go right in here, take a look at it. And especially here, I want you to notice, go straight through, and then it's evenly spaced structures, or whatever this structure was. Looks like these were columns that held it up. And then here's another one right here, perfect 90 degrees. And then, for whatever reason, I guess whenever it fell, this bent inward, and this one moved this way, I guess from the weight of the structures. You have to remember that the Anunnaki, they didn't build anything small. Everything was megalithic. Even a lot of their spacecrafts were. And we're going to take one more look. Here's another wall that goes through here. And then there's sections of this facility broken apart and just fell across here. Like I said before, the white, sandy, bright-looking stuff is glass that has deteriorated and that looks much like sand. Okay, let's go to the next image. We're going to magnify it, and I'm going to give a little bit closer look and give you a good explanation on this one here. See, we already know that this is glass, and if you see my videos, I've proved that most of these facilities are made out of glass, crystal glass. And the line through here is the transmission line. Here, and you'll see them every so often when running through the image. So this facility that's glass once looked like this facility here. And then, as you notice, there's a facility built consecutively behind this one, and they keep are inset back. So we're going to enlarge it. I'm going to show you the ground part. Hopefully it won't pixelate too much. There appeared to be some type of wall that separated these sections here and here and here. And how far it goes down, I don't know. I could not find another image in this area. Now remember, when I said this was glass, these are glass too, through here. And these are deteriorated with millions of years of dust on it. I guess when this one collapsed, a lot of the dust was shaken off of it, the reason it revealed itself. And it was probably much clearer, but you can tell by just looking at it that it was airbrushed and brightened up. But I'm going to show you, and I'm going to prove to you in this one image here that this is glass. I have another indicator for that when we get to it. Okay, I want to go back. The NASA information on this site here, or this image, said it had unusual magnetic variations and that the area was perfectly flat and smooth. Okay, I don't know any area on Earth that's perfectly flat or where else that the ground is naturally occurring. So when you look at the facility, it's set up a lot like a military air base. And it looks like that whenever they launched their fighters, that they were able to launch several at a time. And of course, they didn't need an airstrip, so they would probably roll out and do a vertical and maybe a diagonal takeoff. And because they're separated apart and left at the same time, they can make a squadron of 20 or 30 fighter spacecraft take off and be in formation automatically. But the whole thing does look like a military base, and I have been on a couple of military bases, and this is very similar, even though it's not exactly like the one we have here on Earth. The purpose of the military base is they were always at war with the Anunnaki, who rebelled against the authority over all the Anunnaki. And the Anunnaki were put on Earth, the bad ones, were put on Earth as a prison. And maybe one day I'll go more into the explanation on that. So yes, they were battle ready, and their biggest opposition was their own people that had divided into a different group. Okay, let me take us back. To this image. See if we can get a little bit closer. Okay, we're fixing to look at this facility that's made of glass that has collapsed. And there actually is, the top of this facility, you're going to see glass that is showing itself through that has collapsed. And when you go to watch the next section, or the color section, that I always do, the detail is fantastic in the color portion. And what I did is I left it for you to go through it, look at it, and you can make your own decisions about these structures, but the color part turned out really, really well. Okay, here's a closer version of it. And you're going to be looking up here to see the glass part. Okay, now I'm going to start enlarging it so you can get a better take on it. All right, here it is. See the glass? You can see through it. There's little pieces of debris or whatever on top of it. And you're going to see in a minute also that it extends out before it collapses right here. Okay, it becomes more evident. You can see the glass here. You can see where it's broke off here. This section right in here. Now, how far it went, I have no idea, but this definitely is transparent. Then let's do a close shot of it. Okay, and then here it is. You can see it really good for, it's slightly pixelating, but here's the glass. Here's bits and pieces that's left from the collapse of it, and you can see through it. Now, as we end with this this last image, the next section is going to be the color section, and I did a really good job on bringing out these images. So everything I showed you in the black and white, now you'll know what to look for, and there's actually more stuff there than what I talked about, but I don't like to make my movies really, really long. I like to get to the point and show you the structures. So I appreciate everyone watching, and those who have subscribed, I really appreciate it. And those who haven't, please subscribe to help support my channel. And I will see you on the next video.